Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mind of James podcast. Today, I am drinking on another Yuengling traditional lager. But do not worry, fans. In a couple days, we will be testing out the Yuengling Oktoberfest, which I am excited for. Once again, I hope Yuengling will be a sponsor of the podcast one day. And we are chiefing on a nice Raz. This flavor, let's see if it says it. Blueberry watermelon. A little bit of an oddball, but really good. So, today we are talking about the power of music. The power of music and how music can make you feel and how music gets you in a good mood. And, man, I gotta tell you, I did a little research on this just to see, how the history of music came about and whatnot, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So I'm just gonna read you a few things here, and then I'm gonna talk about a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna read you a few more things here, and then we're gonna talk about it to the best of my knowledge. Let me get a sip of beer. So here we go. Although definitions of music vary widely throughout the world, every known culture partakes in it, and it is thus considered a cultural universal. See, that sentences don't even make sense. You know, when you hit the copy and paste, Wikipedia is kind of wrong sometimes. The origins of music remain highly continuous. Commentators often relate it to the origin of language, with much disagreement surrounding whether music arose before or after language. Many theories have been proposed by scholars from a wide range of areas, though none have achieved a broad approval. Most cultures have their own mythical origins concerning the invention of music, generally rooted in their respective mythological, religious, or philosophical beliefs. You know, I'd like to think music came first. I really do, because, you got some guy just walking down a dirt road. He just killed a jaguar or a lion or a buffalo, and he just starts humming something. And he goes, oh man, that sounds good. Let's do it again. Probably didn't say that because I'd like to think music came first. So you got that warm, fuzzy feeling, how like a good song you put on gives you that fuzzy feeling. And he just started, I'm glad I killed whatever this is so I can feed my family and make a fur coat. That's how I feel about it. I'd like to think music came first because of that. But you never know. You never know. Someone could have just been like, "Hey," and then he started humming something, or making a little beat like "bet bet 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 bet." You never know. Let's see. The music of prehistoric cultures is first firmly dated to 40,000 BP by evidence of bone flutes. You're telling me these people are making flutes out of bones? I hope that their leg just didn't die and they cut it off and made a flute out of it, out of a femur. Maybe they made it out of a cow or something they killed. I don't, though it remains unclear whether or not the actual origins lie in an earlier period of 300,000 to 50,000 BP. There is little known about prehistoric music, with traces mainly limited to some simple flutes and percussion instruments. However, Such evidence indicates that music existed to some extent in prehistoric societies. So all the way back then, Egyptian, Greek, Indian, Persian, the Middle Eastern societies, all the way back then. So they're banging on a skull that they, fashioned. That same, lion or tiger or, jaguar they killed, they just started banging on a skull all of a sudden. And it just sounded good. So they kept doing it. Which is what I would do if I was making music. But it's really weird that they don't have an exact date when the first piece of music was created. I did a lot of research on this, and they don't have an exact, like, July 4th, I don't know, 300,000 BP. They didn't write it down and said, this is the first piece of music. You know what I mean? At least not in my research. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody in the comment section want to, correct me on this. I'd be, do your thing. Do your thing, fans. But there are several notable ages in the history of music. And here they are. The Middle Ages, from 450 to 1450 CE. The Renaissance, 1400s, early 1600s. And then we got the classical period, which is like 1756 to 1791, like Beethoven. Then we got the 19th century music, Romantic period. Then we got 1841 to 1904. Those dates. So we're coming into the early 1900s. And then the 20th century. The 20th century. The 20th century here, folks. Wild, ain't it? Wild how music has been around. So let's just say around the time of consciousness. So pretty early. I'm a big believer in God created the heavens and the earth. Maybe Adam and Eve were just sitting there and they figured out how to snap their fingers. And that's how all these people, in poetry slams just clap. They snap their fingers. Maybe that's where it came from. Yeah, that's what I think. I'm not a musical expert. I have played drums, and I have a practice pad with some double bass pedals. And it got me thinking, where did this music come from, and how did it get started, and in what eras? But maybe Adam and Eve were sitting around just snapping their fingers, banging on a tree, accidentally discovered a percussion instrument. You know what I mean? I made this topic of how did it come to be as a way to express oneself. I've been to open mics in comedy. It was an open mic where comedians, musicians, poetry, everything kind of just went. Everybody just went. This guy came from Columbus, I think, to play some songs, and this guy was in his own little world. had a cape on, a mask. I don't know what he was saying, but he was expressing himself. He sure was. And I can't, props to you, my man. I don't remember your name, but props to you. But music, you can express yourself any way you want to. Like the same open mic, I saw this guy with, I can't remember the name of these things, but it is the Indian guitar, where they like sit in crisscross applesauce style and play it. It was this average looking dude with a top hat playing this guitar. And it fascinating. First time I've ever seen that played, and I was just fascinated with it. Let's see. Here was the first piece of music ever written. The Huron hymn. The Huron hymn is the earliest known song to be recorded and written, dating around the 13th century BCE. The text of this hymn is concerned with the promotion of fertility. Of course. You think these guys, my lady, I just wrote you a song. Well, thous get on their knees. Now to the fun part. Little background history on how music came into my life. So when I was younger, I would always go to a place called Lake Erie, which is north on the it borders Ohio on the north side. And I'd go to a place called Middle Bass Island. It was an island. So we would listen to nothing but island music. Jimmy Buffett, Bob Marley, just you name it. But I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, always will be. Rest in peace, my guy. And so that was all I knew. That was really all I knew. And for years and years and years, I would just listen to Jimmy Buffett. Good old Margarita. I could sing you that song backwards. And then around, I want to say 7th grade. Yeah, probably 7th grade. I found Metallica. And to your surprise, I bet you will never guess what album got me into Metallica. Give you a second to guess. Just think of it to yourselves. Ding, ding, ding. It is the Saint Anger album. That is correct. Whoever said Saint Anger, sound off in the comments. You're probably going to hear another beer open. But, yeah, good old Kraken beers. Better than Kraken Skulls, if you need to, though. So Saint Anger got me into Metallica. It got me into drumming. I'm still a huge fan of Lars Ulrich. And so I started listening to Metallica. That album became my life. Saint Anger became my life. It changed my entire personality. Entire personality. I went from this sweet little island boy who listened to Jimmy Buffett to, hardcore emo goth kid. And it was quite a change. It was quite a change. But Metallica got me into my music career, my music listening career, and my music career is wanting to be a drummer. And then I found bands like 3 Days Grace, bands like Dave Mustaine's band. Why is it coming? Because that band sucks. That's why. Why can't I think of Dave Mustaine's band right now? Symphony of Destruction. What? Why can't I think of his band? Megadeth. Yeah, Megadeth. You know, that was the only song I liked from it was Symphony of Destruction. And it was mediocre at best. It was the same thing over and over and over. Symphony of Destruction. You know, like, go crawl in a hole. Metallica all the way. Even Saint Anger is like voted Metallica's worst album, and it's still better than Symphony of Destruction. So that's where everything started to change for me. I found I kept finding more bands. I just kept finding more bands. And this was early 2000s. Early 2000s. You know what I mean? So, like, we were just coming out of the 90s. You know, the good old 90s bands, Nirvana. Well, Nirvana was probably the best band to come out of the 90s. I'll say that right now. Alice in Chains can suck it. But we get into the early 2000s. And the early 2000s is when things changed dramatically for me. And I really enjoyed just listening to all kinds, because I was a kid. I was in 7th grade, man. I didn't know who I was or what I wanted to do in my life. Hell, I'm 36 and I still kind of don't know what I want to do. You know what I mean? We're looking up early 2000s bands because I can't. There we go. Because I can't quite think of them. Linkin Park. There you go. Linkin Park. 1996. I remember when that Hybrid Theory. I remember when that damn band came out. That band changed my life too. That band sang how I felt. Green Day, they can kick rocks if you ask me. Like, they have here's when you show me a new, or let me hear a new song or something new that I like, I'm immediately going to the drums. Because I'm a drummer at heart. And that's what I'm listening for. If you're not catching me in the first 5 minutes, the first 30 seconds, I'm out. Hit next. You got My Chemical Romance. Like Helena, The Ghost of You, Teenagers. You know what I mean? Welcome to the Black Parade. The White Stripes, never really cared. Foo Fighters. You gotta fight the Foo. Although, Dave Grohl just had a kid outside of his marriage. But that's not gonna change how I feel about that band. And then Blink 182. Still love me some Blink 182. The Killers. They got some good ones. Paramore. Yes, Paramore. I have a friend named Whitney who looks just like Haley Williams. I'll say it again. No, I actually don't have to say it again. Evanescence, Fall Out Boy, Avenged Sevenfold, Jimmy Eat World, the All American Rejects. Like, all these bands to come into the 90s and then go into the 2000s. Like, it was a weird time. We had to adjust to, that's when the internet first started coming out. So, like, I was born in 88. So I understood what it was like not having internet and then having the internet and then finding all this music and finding all this stuff. So, like, I get it. But all these great bands were coming out and they were like so good. And they're still so good. I still rock these songs. You know what I mean? Let's go through a playlist. I have some playlists of what I like, and I would like to share what I have in my playlist, or what kind of I have a blues playlist. So you got to have some Albert King, Gary Clark Jr., Stevie Ray Vaughan. If you have a blues playlist that doesn't have Stevie Ray Vaughan, go walk in front of traffic, or go walk into traffic. That's how it is. And then Christone Kingfish. I want to say his last name is Crawford too, because I'm looking on my phone right now and I can't see his last name. Ingram. Sorry. Christone Kingfish Ingram, Outside of This Town. Amazing song. Amazing song. And then we got some Christmas music. Always got to do that. Country. We got people like Brantley Gilbert, Alan Jackson, Cody Jinks, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart. We're not going to forget that song, because that song speaks volumes even to this day. Florida Georgia Line. Johnny Cash, Travis Tritt, Kid Rock, Zac Brown Band. So, I mean, the list goes on and on when it comes to Tom T. Hall. And then I kind of, the reason why I'm picking this topic too is because I'm all over the map when it comes to music. I could listen to anything. I don't care what it is. Like, I got a drums list 80s. Now with the 80s, what I mean by 80s, like Journey, Warrant, Whitesnake, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Poison, all these bands that blah 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 blah. I listen to the drums, guys. That's all it that. So you're getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, cute little fill. Everybody gets laid. You know, it's boring to me. The 80s bands were boring to me because it was very easy drumming. Give it a little complexity. But I got a pop rock genre, All Time Low. Their cover of Umbrella is really good. All American Rejects, Fall Out Boy, Maroon 5, Paramore. Some more Fall Out, Blink-182, The Offspring, AFI, Him, Alien Ant Farm, and My Chemical Romance. I got a pop rap, which, okay, I've been listening to a lot here lately, and let me give you some songs. We're going to hit it with some Ariana Grande. Now, I know a little shocking for me to say Ariana Grande, but not only do I listen to the drums, but I listen to the melody, I listen to the beat, how fast it's moving, how slow it's moving, and how it all flows together. So songs from Ariana Grande. Yep, that's Iggy Azalea. With Ariana Grande, Problem, very good song. But like God Is a Woman, Breathing. Then we got some BB Rexa, Say My Name with David Guetta, Side to Side. And then what's this chick that just came out? Sabrina Carpenter? Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter with that song Espresso. It goes together so good, I can't believe I'm talking about it. Sorry, fellas. I know. If you want to take my man card, you're more than welcome to. But it's a catchy song. It's a catchy song. And I know those same guys that want to take my man card are going to play that song on the way home and go, damn it, he's right. I cannot believe it. But like Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry. Acoustic style, though. Acoustic. And then we got some drums upbeat. So we got songs like Daughtry, It's Not Over, Red Hot Chili Peppers. A very good song, Switchfoot. Or Dark Horses by Switchfoot. We got some Three Doors Down, lit. Limp Bizkit. Nirvana, 9 Days. Breaking Benjamin. We're all over the map. All over the map. But I got an island playlist full of Jimmy Buffett. Just full of Jimmy Buffett. And if you didn't know this, Eddie Murphy did reggae songs for a little bit. He sure did. But I got a mandatory Metallica playlist. Shout out to my friend Whitney. We love Metallica together. I still love Metallica. So if you love Metallica, shouts out to you. Then we got a party playlist. So if I just hit the random button, I ain't got to stop it. And then a random, let's see what we got here. We got some Fuel, Social Distortion, Dax. Now this random playlist, like if I just find a good song on Instagram, I'll download it. You know what I mean? Bishop Gunn. Who doesn't love Bishop Gunn? And then we just got a couple other things. Tony Bennett Essentials. Love me some Tony Bennett. But music is one of those things where it's a language that you can put out there to tell someone how you're feeling without actually saying how you're feeling. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the big thing I want to talk about today. Besides feeling good, talking about music, because I love music and I hope you do too, was Linkin Park is coming back. Linkin Park has a new lead singer, a new drummer. The new drummer's name is Colin. The new lead singer, his name is Emily. And I gotta say, their new song, The Emptiness Machine, rocks. Hits it right on the note, right on the dome, right on the good feels. Very good song. Very good song. And I know, everybody's like, well, it's not Linkin Park because, Chester did what Chester did, And doing a little research, I found out that the original drummer of Linkin Park just wanted to step away. And I could understand that. You had this machine going for so long, and then all of a sudden the machine blows up, and it's like, well, no reason to be here. But the new drummer seems cool. There's a documentary of them on YouTube that I watched, and, we'll see what happens. But this new song that they just put out, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I can't wait for the whole album to come out, because I want to listen to all the songs and I want to hear what they got to say. But the thing is that the show's got to go on. Like I saw this big thing on Instagram where Chester Bennington's son is denouncing Linkin Park, and he's talking a lot of crap about the new lead singer. These guys got back together to make music because they love music. They love music. This is what they Mike Shinoda. I'm a little tipsy here, guys, so bear with me. Mike Shinoda. The guy's a writer. He's a producer. The drummer, their new drummer, is also a writer and producer. And he's playing the drums for the band. You know what I mean? So don't tell me they don't love music. You ain't gotta say that stuff. They love making music. They love making music. And they found a good fit. I believe that this Emily Armstrong is going to be a good fit for them, because I was listening to them like live and whatnot, and in their concerts and whatnot. She's got a good voice on her. She was also a part of the band called Dead Sarah, which their song Weatherman, really good. She's got some vocal range on her. So I'm really going to be interested to see what they do with this. And I'm really going to be interested to see how far it goes, because I loved Linkin Park. Crawling, Numb, Somewhere I Belong, Paper Cut. Hell, the entire Hybrid Theory album, you can just hit play and not stop it until it's done. That's how good it is. You know? Like Meteora, that's another good album. So we're gonna see where Linkin Park takes it. And I think Linkin Park's gonna do a good job. And there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there that go, well, it's not going to be Linkin Park without Chester. What are they going to do? Change the name? What are they going to change it to? A sailor's fart? Like, what are they going to do? That band put out a lot of music that sang what people felt. So naturally, they're going to stick with the same name to get that same crowd to come in and be like, hey, here's what we're doing. You guys getting on board with this or not? You know what I mean? It's food for thought. It's food for thought. Food for thought, guys. But on that note, on that lovely note, and on this lovely podcast, and on this lovely day, September the 13th, at 9:02 a.m., we had some Yuenglings. We smoked all this nicotine raz vapor. I don't know if you call it a vapor stick or whatever it is, but it's a vape. It's a nicotine vape. We had some good talk. And I would like to thank you guys for joining me. You guys and ladies. I would like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to another episode of the Mind of James podcast. And remember, you guys are the best. Create your own world and live in your own world and enjoy your own world. And on that note, I will see you on the next one.